Welcome to my channel, Bookish English. Be honest with yourself. How many years have passed while you kept saying, I will start tomorrow? How many useful books remained closed while your phone stayed open for hours? How many people moved ahead while you stayed trapped inside the same habits, the same fear, and the same weak version of yourself? The world is not waiting for you. New skills are rising. Old knowledge is losing value. Other people are learning, improving, and preparing while you keep making excuses. You may be busy, tired, or afraid, but your future does not care about excuses. It responds only to what you do every day. School may have ended, but your education must not end. You do not need another degree, an expensive teacher, or a perfect study room. You need discipline, focus, and the courage to learn when nobody is forcing you. Today, you will learn how to educate yourself, sharpen your mind, and become so prepared that your old life can no longer hold you. Chapter 1. You are falling behind. Be honest with yourself for one quiet moment. Are you truly growing, or are you only staying busy? You wake up, you work, you answer messages, you solve small problems, you come home tired. You eat, you watch something, you scroll, you sleep. The next day looks almost the same. You may be working very hard. You may be carrying family duties. You may be dealing with stress, money problems, or health problems. This is real. Your tiredness is real. Your responsibilities are real. But another truth is also real. A full day is not always a growing day. Many people are moving all day, but they are not moving forward. They are like a person running on a machine. Their body is working. Their heart is beating fast. They are sweating. But when they stop, they are still in the same place. This can also happen in life. You can repeat the same work for 5 years and still have the same weak skill, the same fear, the same low confidence, and the same limited choices. Hard work matters. But hard work without learning can trap you inside the same level. Falling behind is usually quiet. No alarm rings. No one knocks on your door and says, your knowledge is becoming old. It happens slowly. One day, a younger worker understands a new tool that you do not understand. One day, another person speaks with more confidence in a meeting. One day, a better job appears, but you do not have the skill to apply. One day, people begin using a new system, and you feel afraid because everything looks strange. Then you ask, why is everyone moving ahead of me? The painful answer may be simple. They did not become better in one night. They kept learning while you kept waiting. Think about the last year. How many useful books did you plan to read but never opened? How many courses did you save but never finished? How many times did you say, I will start on Monday? How many hours disappeared inside short videos that you do not even remember now? How many times did you watch other people improve while telling yourself that your time would come later? Later is a dangerous word. Later feels safe because it asks nothing from you today. But later can become next week. Next week can become next month. Next month can become another year. Then one day, you look back and feel pain because you know you could have become stronger, wiser, and more prepared. This does not mean you are lazy. It does not mean you are stupid. It does not mean your life is finished. It means your mind may have been living without fresh food. Your body needs food. Your mind also needs new ideas, hard questions, useful practice, and honest correction. When your mind receives nothing new, your confidence can slowly become weak. You begin to avoid difficult conversations. You remain silent when you should speak. You depend on others to explain simple things. You fear new tools. You stop trusting yourself. Many people try to fix this problem with positive words. They say, I am confident. I am powerful. I can do anything. Positive words can give energy, but real confidence needs proof. You feel confident when you have studied. You feel confident when you have practiced. You feel confident when you can answer a question, solve a problem, explain an idea, or do something that once felt difficult. Real confidence grows from preparation. Imagine two people who start the same job on the same day. The first person does only what the manager asks. He finishes the task and goes home. The second person also finishes the task, but she asks questions. She watches how skilled workers solve problems. She improves her English. She learns a new computer tool. She writes down her mistakes. She tries to become a little better each week. After 1 month, they may look equal. After 1 year, the difference becomes clear. After 5 years, one person may still be waiting for a chance. The other person may be ready when the chance arrives. Both worked, but only one continued to grow. This is why the sentence, I know enough, is so dangerous. The moment you believe you know enough, you stop asking, you stop listening, you stop changing. Your world becomes smaller, but the real world keeps becoming larger, faster, and more difficult. You do not fall behind because you are less valuable as a human being. You fall behind because your skills, knowledge, and thinking are not moving with your life. Do not misunderstand the title of this video. Getting ahead of 99% of people does not mean looking down on others. It does not mean becoming proud. It does not mean treating people as losers. Your true competition is not with millions of strangers. Your true competition is between your old habits and your future. It is between your excuses and your goals. It is between the distracted version of you and the trained version of you. Ask yourself one serious question. What important part of my life has stopped growing? Is it your English, your work skill, your money knowledge, your health knowledge, your speaking ability, your confidence, your use of technology? Do not choose 10 answers. Choose one. Write it down. Look at it honestly. You do not need to repair your whole life tonight. You do not need to read 100 books. You do not need to study for 5 hours. You need one decision. Do not let another day end without learning something useful. Read 1 page, learn 1 new word, watch 1 clear lesson, ask 1 honest question, practice 1 small skill, then return tomorrow. Say these words slowly. I am not finished. I can still learn. I can still grow. I can begin today. You may feel behind now, but behind is not the same as defeated. You are defeated only when you stop moving. Your past may explain where you are, but it does not have to decide where you remain. The moment you begin learning again, your direction begins to change. But why do so many intelligent people stop learning after school? The answer begins with one dangerous belief. Chapter 2. School was only the start. Many people leave school with a certificate in their hands and a dangerous lie inside their minds. They believe their learning is finished. They believe they have studied enough. They believe the difficult part is over, and now they only need to work, earn money, and repeat the same duties for the rest of their lives. This belief feels comfortable, but it can quietly destroy their future. School may have given you a beginning, but it was never supposed to be the end. A certificate can show what you studied in the past, but it cannot promise that you will be ready for the future. The world will not stop changing because you completed an exam. New tools will appear, new jobs will appear, old skills will lose value, new problems will enter your life. If you keep using only what you learned many years ago, you may soon discover that your knowledge belongs to a world that no longer exists. This does not mean school is useless. Teachers matter. Schools matter. Basic education matters. School can teach you how to read, write, follow rules, finish tasks, and work with other people. It can give you a foundation. But a foundation is not a complete house. You cannot live inside a foundation. You must continue building. No teacher can prepare you for every problem you will face during the next 30 or 40 years. No book can answer every question that life will ask you. No degree can protect you forever if you stop growing after receiving it. Life will test you in areas that were never part of your school lessons. It will test your confidence, communication, money decisions, health choices, work skills, patience, relationships, and ability to adapt. When those tests come, nobody will give you a timetable or tell you which page to study. Many people say, "I was never a good student, so learning is not for me." This is another excuse that must be destroyed. Maybe you did not enjoy school. Maybe you had weak teachers. Maybe you learned slowly. Maybe you failed an exam. Maybe people laughed at your mistakes and made you believe you were not intelligent. That pain can stay inside you for years. You may still hear an old voice saying, "You cannot understand difficult things." But an exam result from the past does not decide the full power of your mind. School may have measured how well you remembered certain answers on a certain day. It did not measure every kind of intelligence you have. It did not measure your courage, curiosity, patience, creativity, or ability to improve through practice. You do not need to learn quickly to become educated. Slow learning is still real learning. You do not need to understand everything the first time. You can pause. You can repeat. You can ask questions. You can begin again. A person who learns slowly but continues can travel much further than a person who learns quickly and becomes lazy. Stop using speed as proof of intelligence. Some important things need time. A tree does not become weak because it grows slowly. It becomes strong because its roots continue going deeper. Your knowledge can grow in the same way, but only when you stop feeling ashamed of being a beginner. Real education is much larger than a classroom. Education happens when you face a problem and search for a better answer. It happens when you make a mistake and honestly study what went wrong. It happens when you read one useful page and apply it to your life. It happens when you listen to an experienced person instead of pretending you already know everything. It happens when you learn to write a clear message, manage your money, speak English, use a new computer tool, control your emotions, or communicate during a difficult moment. Education is not only about collecting facts. Real education changes the way you think, choose, speak, and act. Look around your home. You may believe you do not have a school, but you may already have everything needed to begin. A simple chair can become your classroom. A small table can become your desk. Your phone can become a library. A notebook can become your record of growth. One good book can become a teacher. One trusted course can guide you for months. 20 quiet minutes can become the most valuable part of your day. Stop saying you have nothing because you do not have an expensive building, a famous teacher, or a perfect study room. Many people have access to thousands of lessons, but they use the same phone only for gossip, entertainment, and endless scrolling. The problem is not always a lack of tools. The problem is often a lack of decision. You must also stop waiting for someone to force you. In school, a teacher gave you homework. A bell told you when to begin. An exam created fear. A parent may have checked your progress. Adult life is different. Nobody may come and ask whether you learned today. Nobody may punish you for wasting your evening. Nobody may notice that your skills are becoming old. This freedom can feel pleasant, but it is also dangerous. When nobody is forcing you, your real character becomes clear. Will you educate yourself, or will you wait until a crisis forces you to learn? Will you prepare before the opportunity appears, or will you cry when the opportunity passes because you were not ready? Guidance is useful, but your growth cannot remain someone else's responsibility. A teacher can explain, but they cannot focus for you. A book can show a method, but it cannot practice for you. A course can give lessons, but it cannot build discipline inside you. At some point, you must become the student who asks questions, the teacher who searches for answers, the planner who chooses a direction, and the examiner who checks progress. This may sound difficult, but it is also powerful. When you become responsible for your own education, nobody can completely stop your growth. Begin by asking one honest question. What did school not teach me enough about? Maybe the answer is money. Maybe it is English speaking. Maybe it is communication. Maybe it is health, technology, confidence, work, or decision making. Do not complain about the missing lesson forever. Choose one subject and begin teaching yourself now. Complaining may explain your pain, but it will not build your future. Say these words with full belief. School was not the end of my education. My past results do not control my future. I can learn inside my home. I can ask better questions. I can become my own teacher. I can grow even if nobody is forcing me. You have books, videos, teachers, and information all around you, but having access does not mean you are truly learning. You can spend years watching useful content and still remain confused if you study without a clear direction. That is the next dangerous problem you must solve. Chapter 3. Choose what you must learn. You can have thousands of books, hundreds of saved videos, and unlimited access to the internet, yet still remain confused, weak, and unprepared. This is the painful condition of many people today. They are surrounded by information, but they have no clear direction. They watch one video about business, another about health, another about confidence, and another about money. They begin a book, leave it unfinished, open a new course, and change their goal again after 3 days. Their mind stays busy, but their life stays the same. They feel as if they are learning because they are always consuming something useful. However, collecting information is not the same as building knowledge, and building knowledge is not the same as developing a real skill. You do not need more random information. You need the right knowledge for the future you are trying to create. The internet is not a small library. It is an endless ocean. You can spend your entire life moving from one lesson to another and never reach the place you actually need to reach. Access is no longer your biggest problem. Direction is your problem. You may spend 5 hours watching educational videos and still make no real progress because those videos are not connected to one clear purpose. One video makes you excited about writing. Another makes you interested in business. A third makes you think you should learn design. By the end of the day, you have many ideas, but no action. Your brain is full, but your hands have built nothing. This is not self-education. This is mental wandering. You must understand the difference between entertainment, information, knowledge, and skill. Entertainment helps time pass. Information tells you something. Knowledge means you understand that information and can explain it in your own words. Skill means you can actually use what you learned. A person may watch 100 videos about speaking English, but if that person never speaks, they do not have speaking skill. A person may read 10 books about confidence, but if they remain silent during every important conversation, those books have not yet become part of their behavior. A person may know many facts about money, but if they cannot control spending or create a simple budget, that knowledge is still weak. The world does not change because of what you watched. It changes because of what you can understand, use, and perform. Your learning should begin with a real problem, not with random excitement. Ask yourself one hard question. What problem in my life would become smaller if I learned the right skill? Maybe you cannot speak during meetings. Maybe you understand English, but your mouth becomes silent when someone talks to you. Maybe you cannot write a clear message. Maybe you waste money because you never learned basic budgeting. Maybe new technology frightens you. Maybe you want a better job, but you do not have the required skill. Maybe you read many things but forget them quickly. Stop hiding from the problem. Name it clearly. A problem that remains unnamed is difficult to solve because your mind keeps running in every direction. After choosing the problem, think about the result you want after 30 days, 3 months, or 1 year. Do not only ask, "What do I want to know?" Ask, "What do I want to be able to do?" That question is much stronger. You may want to speak English for 5 minutes without reading. You may want to write a professional email. You may want to create a monthly budget. You may want to use a new computer program. You may want to explain your ideas with confidence. You may want to complete a small project. Clear ability is better than a vague dream. I want to become smarter. Sounds nice, but it gives you no direction. I want to speak for 5 minutes about my daily life in English. Gives you a target you can see and test. Now, build a simple, personal curriculum. You do not need a complicated plan filled with difficult words. Write 5 things. First, write your problem. Second, write the skill you need. Third, choose one main source for learning. Fourth, decide how you will practice each week. Fifth, decide what proof will show that you improved. For example, your problem may be that you understand English but cannot speak. Your target skill is daily speaking. Your main source may be one beginner speaking course. Your weekly practice may be recording yourself for 2 minutes every day. Your proof may be speaking for 5 minutes without notes after 30 days. This is a real learning plan because every part has a purpose. You must also accept the one main goal rule. You may have many interests, and that is not wrong. You may want to improve English, learn design, understand money, read history, and develop confidence. However, trying to improve everything at the same time often means improving nothing deeply. Choose one main goal for a fixed period. Give it your best attention for 30 days. Other interests can wait. They are not disappearing. Your problem is not that you lack interests. Your problem may be that you leave every interest before it becomes a useful ability. Depth creates results. Constant switching creates unfinished beginnings. Choose your learning area carefully. You may focus on communication and English, career and income skills, thinking and problem solving, health and daily life, or creativity and personal interest. You do not need to study every area now. Choose the one that can create the most useful change in your present life. If weak English is blocking better work, begin there. If poor money decisions are creating daily stress, study basic finance. If technology is making you feel helpless, learn one useful digital tool. Your learning should serve your life. Do not study something only because it looks intelligent or because other people are talking about it. Your learning source also matters. One clear beginner course is often better than 10 difficult courses. One useful book that you finish is better than 20 books that remain unopened. Choose a teacher who explains ideas clearly. Choose material that matches your level. Choose a source that includes practice, not only motivation. Be careful with people who promise instant success, complete mastery in a few days, or amazing results without effort. Real learning takes time, repetition, mistakes, and action. A beautiful video cannot remove that truth. Follow the one-course rule. Complete or seriously practice one good resource before searching for another one. Many people change courses because practice becomes difficult. The first lessons feel exciting. Then, the work becomes uncomfortable. Instead of continuing, they tell themselves, the teacher is not good enough. They search for another course and feel excited again. Soon, the same difficulty appears, and they escape again. The problem is not always the teacher or the course. Sometimes the problem is your habit of running away when learning stops feeling easy. You also need a stop list. Stop saving lessons you will never study. Stop buying books to feel productive. Stop changing goals every week. Stop comparing your first month with someone else's 10th year. Stop learning things only because they sound impressive. Stop watching endless motivational videos when you already know what you need to do. At some point, more advice becomes another excuse. You do not need another person to tell you to begin. You need to sit down, choose one useful skill, and do the work. Write this sentence now. During the next 30 days, I will learn because I want to be able to. 2. Fill the spaces honestly. Keep the goal simple, clear, and useful. Then say these words aloud. My learning goal is clear. I will study one useful skill. I will not run after everything. I will finish what I start. Choosing the right subject will save you from years of random learning. However, choosing well is not enough. Many people study the right thing, understand it for a moment, and then forget almost everything. Now you must learn how to make knowledge stay inside your mind. Chapter 4. Learn so it stays. You may have chosen the right subject. You may have found a good teacher. You may sit with a book, watch a full lesson, and understand every word while it is in front of you. Then the next day comes. Someone asks what you learned, and your mind becomes empty. You remember that the lesson was useful, but you cannot explain the main idea. You recognize the words when you see them again, but you cannot bring them back by yourself. After this happens many times, you may begin to say, my memory is weak, my brain is slow, learning is not for me. Stop using these painful sentences against yourself. You may not have a bad memory. You may simply be using a weak learning method. Watching, reading, and highlighting can make you feel busy, but they do not always make knowledge stay. If you only look at information again and again, your eyes become familiar with it, but your mind may never learn how to find it without help. This is where many people lie to themselves without knowing it. They watch a lesson and say, "Yes, I understand." They read the same page 3 times and say, "This is easy." Of course it feels easy while the answer is still sitting in front of you. The real test begins when you close the book, pause the video, and try to explain the idea without looking. Understanding while looking is not the same as remembering without looking. If you cannot bring the idea back, you have not finished learning it. You have only met it. Meeting an idea is the beginning. Remembering it, explaining it, and using it are the real work. The first rule is simple. Learn a small amount. Stop trying to force an entire book, course, or subject into your mind in one sitting. Your brain is not a rubbish bag where you throw everything and hope something useful remains. Study one short lesson, one page, one idea, or one group of words. Give that small part your full attention. When people consume too much information at once, they often remember almost nothing clearly. They feel tired, proud, and productive, but their knowledge is weak. A smaller lesson that you can recall and use is more valuable than a large lesson that disappears by morning. After learning a small part, close the source, close the book, pause the video, turn the page over. Do not look at the answer. This moment may feel uncomfortable because now your mind must work. That discomfort is not proof that you are failing. It is proof that you have finally started real learning. Ask yourself, what was the main idea? What were the important points? What example did the teacher use? What can I explain now? Try to answer before you check. Your mind may struggle. You may remember only one small part. That is fine, but do not run back to the lesson immediately. Give your mind a chance to search. This searching is part of the training. Many learners avoid this step because it makes them feel weak. They prefer to keep the book open because an open book protects them from seeing what they forgot. But hiding from your weakness will not make you stronger. You must see the gap before you can repair it. A serious learner does not say, "I hope I remember." A serious learner tests the memory and finds the truth. This may feel harsh, but it is far better than spending months believing you are learning while almost everything is disappearing. After recalling the lesson, explain it in very simple words. Imagine you are teaching a child, a friend, a family member, or an imaginary student. Do not repeat the teacher's difficult sentences. Use your own words. If the lesson is about focus, explain what focus means and give one example from your life. If the lesson is about money, explain the idea as if the listener knows nothing about it. If the lesson is about English grammar, create your own sentence. When your explanation becomes confused, you have found a weak part. Do not feel ashamed. Confusion is useful because it shows exactly where you need more learning. Then return to the source and check. Compare your explanation with the real lesson. Ask what you remembered correctly, what you missed, and what you understood in the wrong way. Many people hate finding mistakes because their pride is more important than their progress. Do not become one of them. A mistake is not an attack on your intelligence. It is information. It tells you what to study again. If you remembered 2 points and forgot one, you now know where to focus. If your example was wrong, you can correct it before the wrong idea becomes a strong habit. You also need to review after time has passed. Reading the same lesson 5 times in 1 hour may create a feeling of comfort, but that comfort can disappear quickly. Return to the idea the next day. Try to remember before looking. Return after a few days. Test yourself again. Return after 1 week. The purpose is not to stare at the same notes forever. The purpose is to pull the knowledge out of your mind after some time has passed. Each successful return makes the path stronger. Each failed return shows what still needs work. Your notes must also become smarter. Stop copying every sentence as if your hand is a printing machine. Long notes can look impressive while your mind remains inactive. After each lesson, answer 4 simple questions. What is the main idea? Why does it matter? What is one example? Where can I use it? These questions force you to think. They turn notes into understanding. One clear page written in your own words is stronger than 10 copied pages that you never review. You should also connect new knowledge with your real life. Ask, what does this remind me of? Where have I seen this before? How is it different from what I believed? Where can I use it tomorrow? New information becomes easier to remember when it has a place inside your life. A lesson about discipline becomes stronger when you connect it to your evening routine. A lesson about communication becomes clearer when you connect it to a real conversation. A new English word becomes useful when you use it in a sentence about your own day. For you, there is another powerful method. Use English to make knowledge active. After learning one idea, explain it in easy English. Write 3 simple sentences. Use 1 new word. Ask 1 question about the lesson. Record your voice. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need a perfect accent. You need to make your mind work. For example, you can say, "Today I learned about focus." Focus means giving attention to one thing. I can improve my focus by putting my phone away. In this small practice, you are improving knowledge, memory, speaking, vocabulary, and confidence at the same time. Stop calling yourself stupid because you forget. Maybe you are studying too much. Maybe your attention is broken. Maybe you never test yourself. Maybe you never review. Maybe you sleep too little. Maybe you never use the information. These problems can be changed. Your memory is not improved by fear. It is improved by a better method and repeated effort. Use this cycle every day. Learn, close, recall, explain, check, and review. Do not only watch, do not only read, do not only agree with the teacher. Make your mind bring the lesson back. Say these words with strength. I do not only watch, I stop and remember. I explain what I learn. I check my mistakes. I return and review. Remembering knowledge is powerful, but memory alone cannot change your life. A person can know many ideas and still remain unable to do anything useful with them. The next step is where knowledge must leave your notebook and enter your actions. Chapter 5. Turn knowledge into real skill. You can read hundreds of books, watch thousands of lessons, save useful posts, and fill many notebooks, but none of that proves that you can do something well. This is the painful truth many learners refuse to face. They know many ideas, but they cannot use them. They can talk about confidence, but they remain silent when an important person speaks to them. They know English grammar rules, but their mouth becomes empty when someone asks a simple question. They watch business videos every day, but they never test one small business idea. They learn about discipline, but they still delay the same important task. They collect knowledge because collecting feels safe. Real action is different. Real action can show weakness, mistakes, fear, and poor preparation. That is why many people hide inside endless learning. They tell themselves they are preparing, but deep inside, they are afraid to begin. You must understand the 4 levels of learning. The first level is, I heard it. The second level is, I understand it. The third level is, I can explain it. The fourth level is, I can do it. Most people remain inside the first 2 levels for years. They hear good ideas and understand them while the teacher is speaking. They feel excited and intelligent. Then the lesson ends, and they return to the same old life. Real self-education cannot stop at understanding. If you learn speaking, you must speak. If you learn writing, you must write. If you learn design, you must create something. If you learn money skills, you must make a real budget. If you learn communication, you must enter a real conversation. Knowledge becomes powerful only when it changes what your hands, mouth, and mind can do. This is why you need small projects. A project gives your learning a real purpose. It forces you to leave the safe world of watching and enter the honest world of doing. Your project does not need to be large. In fact, large projects often become another excuse because they look too difficult. Choose something small enough to finish but useful enough to test you. If you are learning English, record a 2-minute talk about your daily life. If you are learning writing, write 1 clear page. If you are learning personal finance, create a simple plan for your monthly spending. If you are learning technology, complete 1 basic digital task without asking someone else to do it. If you are learning public speaking, explain 1 idea to a family member or record yourself speaking to the camera. A small finished project is more valuable than a huge unfinished dream. Many people love making plans because plans do not expose them. They buy a notebook. They create a beautiful timetable. They write 10 goals. They tell friends about the great things they will do. Then real work begins, and they disappear. Stop trying to look like a serious learner. Become one. A serious learner finishes small work. A serious learner sees mistakes. A serious learner returns and improves. You do not need to impress anyone with the size of your goal. You need to prove to yourself that you can complete something. Use a simple practice system. Try, notice, correct, and try again. First, try to perform the skill. Do not wait until you feel fully prepared, because that day may never arrive. Then notice what happened. Where did you stop? What felt difficult? Which part was weak? After that, correct 1 problem. Study the missing word, practice the difficult step, or ask for useful feedback. Then try again with 1 clear improvement. This is how real ability grows. You do not improve only because time passes. You improve because each attempt teaches you something, and each new attempt becomes more careful. Mistakes are not pleasant, but they are useful. A mistake can show that you missed an important idea. It can show that you did not practice enough. It can show that your plan was unclear or that your attention was weak. Do not celebrate failure as if failure itself is success. Failure is useful only when you study it. Repeating the same mistake without thinking is not growth. A serious learner asks, what exactly went wrong, and what will I change in the next attempt? That question turns pain into progress. You also need feedback. You cannot always see your own weakness clearly. Feedback may come from a teacher, a skilled friend, a checklist, a trusted example, a recording, or the result of your work. For English speaking, record your voice. Listen carefully. You may notice long pauses, missing words, unclear sounds, or sentences that are too difficult. Do not hate your voice. Do not feel embarrassed. That recording is not there to insult you. It is there to show you the truth. The first recording may feel weak, but it gives you a starting point. After 1 week of practice, record again. Compare both recordings. Improvement becomes real when you can hear it. Be careful with repetition. Repeating something many times does not always make it better. If you repeat the same mistake carelessly, that mistake can become stronger. Before each new attempt, ask yourself, what am I trying to improve this time? What went wrong before? What one change will I make now? This is conscious practice. It gives every attempt a clear purpose. 10 careful attempts can teach more than 100 careless attempts. Here is a simple 7-day speaking project for English beginners. On the first day, record yourself speaking for 30 seconds about your morning. On the second day, learn 5 useful words connected to that topic. On the third day, speak again and use those words. On the fourth day, listen to your recording and notice your main problems. On the fifth day, practice the weak sentences slowly. On the sixth day, make a new recording. On the seventh day, compare the first and final recordings. You may still make mistakes, but you will have real proof that you acted, learned, corrected, and improved. At the end of every week, produce something that proves your learning. It may be a voice recording, a written page, a solved problem, a finished design, a completed task, or a real conversation. Do not only count the hours you studied. Ask what you can do now that you could not do before. Time can pass without progress. Proof shows change. You may have spent years preparing to begin. You may have told yourself that you need more lessons, more confidence, more time, or better English. At some point, preparation becomes a hiding place. You do not need to feel fearless before you act. Action is how fear becomes smaller. Choose one small project that you can finish within 7 days. Write it down. Start before your mind creates another excuse. Say these words with full strength. I will not only collect ideas, I will use what I learn. I will make honest mistakes. I will correct them. I will become better through practice. You now know how to choose a useful subject, remember what you learn, and turn knowledge into real skill. But one serious problem can still destroy everything. You may begin with energy, work for 3 days, and then disappear. The next step is learning how to build a system that continues even when motivation is gone. Chapter 6. Build your daily learning system. You may understand everything you have heard so far. You may know what to study, how to remember it, and how to turn it into a real skill. You may even feel powerful and excited right now. But excitement is cheap when it disappears after 3 days. This is where most people fail. They begin with energy, create a beautiful plan, study for several hours, and tell themselves that their life is changing. Then a busy day comes. Work becomes difficult. The children need attention. The body feels tired. The mind loses interest. They miss one learning session, then another, and soon the notebook is closed again. Their goal becomes another unfinished promise. You must stop building plans that only work on perfect days. Your life will not always be calm. Your body will not always feel strong. Your mind will not always feel motivated. You need a learning system that continues when your day is difficult, your mood is low, and your excuses sound completely reasonable. Many people say they have no time, and sometimes their lives are truly heavy. They work long hours. They care for their families. They travel far. They deal with money problems, poor health, stress, and responsibilities that other people never see. Your struggle is real, and nobody should laugh at it. However, you must also face a hard truth. A difficult life makes learning more important, not less important. If your present skills are keeping you trapped, doing nothing will not make the trap disappear. You may not have 2 free hours, but you may be able to protect 10 minutes. You may not be able to complete a full course this month, but you can learn one useful idea today. Stop waiting for a large, empty space to appear inside your life. That space may never appear. You must build your education inside the life you already have. Your first learning option is the 10-minute rescue session. This is for terrible days when you are tired, busy, upset, or almost ready to quit. Spend 4 minutes learning one small idea. Spend 3 minutes closing the lesson and recalling what you remember. Spend the final 3 minutes explaining the idea aloud or using it in one small action. 10 minutes may not look impressive, but its purpose is not to impress anyone. Its purpose is to protect your habit. On hard days, you are not trying to become a genius in one sitting. You are proving that your difficulties cannot completely remove learning from your life. A small session keeps the door open. Once that door closes for many days, returning becomes harder. Your second option is the 25-minute normal session. This is strong enough for real progress and short enough for most ordinary days. Spend 10 minutes learning with full attention. Then close the lesson and spend 5 minutes recalling the main ideas. Use the next 5 minutes to explain the lesson in simple English. Use the final 5 minutes to practice, write, solve, record, or plan how you will apply it. This session is short, but it contains the parts that most learners ignore. It does not only give you information, it makes you remember, explain, and use that information. 25 focused minutes can be more valuable than 2 careless hours filled with messages, noise, and constant phone checking. Your third option is the 60-minute deep session. Use it when you have more time and energy. Spend 20 minutes learning one clear subject. Spend 10 minutes recalling and writing short notes in your own words. Spend 20 minutes working on a real task or project. Use the final 10 minutes to check mistakes, correct weak parts, and decide what to study next. Do not use this longer session to consume endless information. More time does not mean more random videos. It means deeper attention, harder practice, and better correction. The goal is not to finish the hour feeling tired. The goal is to finish with stronger knowledge or better skill. You must choose a learning time that fits your real life. Stop copying the routine of someone who has a completely different schedule. Some people can study early in the morning. Others work at night and need to study after lunch. Some parents can learn only after their children sleep. Some workers can use part of a lunch break. Your time does not need to look impressive. It needs to be repeatable. Choose one moment that often exists in your day. It may be after morning tea, after dinner, before opening social media, or immediately after returning from work. Connect learning to something you already do. When the same action becomes a signal, beginning becomes easier. You must also understand the difference between deep learning and light learning. Deep learning needs full attention. It includes reading carefully, writing, solving problems, speaking, recalling, and completing projects. Light learning can happen while walking, traveling, or doing simple housework. It may include listening to a podcast, reviewing vocabulary, or thinking about a question. Light learning is useful, but do not lie to yourself and call every background podcast serious study. Hearing information while your attention is somewhere else is not equal to focused practice. Use light learning to support your main work, not to replace it completely. Your environment must make starting easy. Put the notebook where you can see it. Open the correct lesson before the session begins. Keep one pen ready. Close useless tabs. Silence notifications. Put the phone away when it is not needed. Do not waste the first 10 minutes deciding what to study. That decision should already be made. Every extra choice gives your lazy mind another chance to escape. A strong system removes small excuses before they become large excuses. Create one minimum rule that you will follow even on bad days. Your rule may be, I will complete at least 10 minutes. This minimum is not permission to remain weak forever. It is protection against disappearing. You should also follow another rule. Never miss twice. Missing one day can happen. You may become sick, travel, face an emergency, or simply fail. Do not turn one mistake into a new lifestyle. Return the next day, even if you can only complete the rescue session. One missed day is an event. 2 missed days can become a pattern. Stop the pattern before it controls you. At the end of each week, review your progress honestly. Ask what you learned, what you can remember, what you practiced, what you completed, and where you struggled. Do not only count hours. A person can sit with a book for 10 hours and learn very little. Count real results. Count recordings made, pages written, problems solved, words used, projects completed, and mistakes corrected. Your learning must leave evidence. If there is no evidence, your plan may be too passive or too unclear. There will also be days when learning feels boring. The first week may feel exciting because everything is new. Later, repetition begins, and your mind starts asking for entertainment. This is the exact point where weak people stop. Do not expect every useful action to feel exciting. Some parts of growth are quiet, slow, and uncomfortable. When boredom comes, reduce the session if necessary, but do not end the journey. Perfection is another trap. You do not need the perfect table, notebook, teacher, accent, or timetable. You need a repeatable action that survives your imperfect life. Choose your time, your place, your subject, your minimum session, and your weekly project. Write them clearly. Then say these words with strength. My system is simple. I know when I will learn. I know what I will study. On hard days, I will do the minimum. If I miss one day, I will return the next day. I will not wait for motivation to build my future. A strong learning system can carry you through tired days, but even a strong system will fail if your attention is being stolen every few minutes, or if the information entering your mind is false. Now you must learn how to protect your focus and choose what deserves a place inside your mind. Chapter 7. Protect your mind and future. You can choose the right subject, use a strong memory method, practice a real skill, and build a daily learning routine, but all of that can still collapse if you do not protect your attention. Your attention is the door to your mind. Whatever receives your attention repeatedly begins to shape your thoughts, your habits, your language, and eventually your life. Every day, hundreds of people and companies fight for a place inside your mind. They send notifications, short videos, dramatic headlines, useless arguments, and endless entertainment. They do not care about the future you are trying to build. They care about keeping your eyes on the screen for a few more minutes. If you do not take control, Your best hours will be stolen from you while you sit there believing you are only taking a small break. You know how this happens because you have probably lived through it many times. You open your phone to watch one useful lesson. A message appears, so you answer it. Then, you see another notification. You open social media for 1 minute. A short video catches your attention, then another video begins automatically. 30 minutes later, you return to the lesson, but your mind is no longer quiet. You have forgotten the beginning. You cannot focus on one paragraph. You feel restless, so you close the lesson and promise to study later. This is not a small problem. When it happens every day, it trains your mind to escape whenever learning becomes difficult. You slowly lose the ability to sit with one idea, solve one problem, or finish one meaningful task. Do not tell yourself that you are simply bad at focusing. Your attention is being trained by what you repeatedly do. If you change tasks every few seconds, your mind becomes used to constant change. If you watch very short content for hours, a 20-minute lesson begins to feel painfully slow. If you answer every message immediately, silence begins to feel uncomfortable. You created this pattern through repetition, and you can change it through repetition. However, change will not happen while you keep making excuses. You cannot say that your future matters and then give your best attention to everything except your future. Your actions are revealing what truly receives your loyalty. Create a small focus space during your learning session. It does not need to be a perfect room. It can be one chair, one corner, or one side of a table. For 25 minutes, silence unnecessary notifications. Close extra pages. Put away anything that is not connected to the lesson. Keep one book, one video, one notebook, and one clear goal. If you need your phone for the lesson, open only the lesson. Do not keep social media beside it, as if you are strong enough to fight temptation every 30 seconds. A wise learner does not depend only on willpower. A wise learner removes the distraction before it begins. Your phone is not your enemy, but your careless use of it can become your enemy. The same phone that wastes 3 hours can teach you a language, record your voice, store your notes, connect you with a teacher, and give you access to great books and courses. The tool is not deciding your future. Your daily use is deciding it. Stop saying, "My phone wastes my time," as if the phone enters your hand by force. You open it. You choose the application. You continue watching. This truth may sound harsh, but responsibility gives you power. When you admit that you are making the choice, you also discover that you can make a different choice. Clean your digital environment. Unfollow pages that fill your mind with gossip, anger, fear, and useless comparison. Remove notifications that do not protect your work, health, or family. Move distracting applications away from the first screen. Create one learning folder. Save only lessons you truly plan to study. Delete the hundreds of saved posts you know you will never use. A crowded digital life creates a crowded mind. You do not need to keep every useful thing you see. You need to use a few useful things deeply. You must also protect your mind from bad information. The internet gives everyone a voice, but it does not make every voice wise. A person can speak confidently and still be completely wrong. A beautiful video does not prove that the facts are true. Millions of followers do not make every statement correct. A famous name does not turn every opinion into knowledge. Some people make shocking claims because shocking claims receive attention. Some people promise instant success because they want your money. Some people repeat information they never checked. If you believe everything that sounds powerful, your self-education can fill your mind with mistakes instead of truth. Before you trust important information, ask simple questions. Who created it? What experience does this person have? Do they explain where the information came from? Is the lesson current, or is it very old? Are they teaching you, or are they only trying to sell you something? Can another reliable source confirm the same point? Does the promise sound too perfect? Anyone who promises that you can master a difficult skill in a few days without effort is not respecting you. Real learning requires time, practice, correction, and patience. Do not let sweet lies make you hate the slow truth. Artificial intelligence can also support your education, but it must not replace your thinking. You can use it to explain a difficult word, create simple examples, organize notes, correct basic writing, or prepare practice questions. These are useful actions. However, an AI tool can also misunderstand your question or give incorrect information. Do not accept every answer without thought. Check important facts. Compare the answer with reliable sources. Ask better questions. Use your own judgment. A tool should make your thinking stronger, not make your thinking unnecessary. You also need an information diet. Your body becomes weak when it receives poor food every day, and your mind can also become weak when it receives poor information every day. Choose one main course or book for your current goal. Choose one additional teacher when another explanation is needed. Choose a limited time for news and entertainment. Choose one day each week to review what you learned. Stop jumping between 20 voices. Too many teachers can make a beginner more confused because each person may use a different method and different words. More information does not always create more understanding. Sometimes it only creates more noise. Comparison is another thief of attention. You see someone speaking perfect English, building a successful business, reading many books, or using a difficult skill, and you begin attacking yourself. You forget that you are seeing their present result, not their first weak attempt. You compare your first month with their 10th year, and then call yourself a failure. This is foolish and unfair. Use skilled people as proof that improvement is possible, but do not use them as weapons against yourself. Your task is not to become another person today. Your task is to become slightly more capable than you were yesterday. There must also be quiet inside your learning life. You do not need content entering your ears and eyes during every free moment. Sometimes you need to close the screen and think. Walk without a video. Sit with one question. Review an idea in your mind. Let your brain connect what you have learned. Constant input can make you feel informed while leaving no space for deep thought. A serious learner knows when to study, when to practice, and when to become quiet. Now bring everything from this video together. You must choose one clear target. You must use a reliable source. You must learn a small amount, close the lesson, recall it, explain it, check it, and review it. You must turn the lesson into action through a small project. You must follow a daily system that survives bad days. You must protect your focus and check the information before allowing it into your mind. This is how you become your own teacher. You stop waiting for someone to force you. You stop waiting for school to begin again. You stop waiting for the perfect time because you finally understand that the perfect time has been stealing years from you. Perhaps you feel that you are already too far behind. Maybe you believe you are too old, too busy, too poor, or too weak in English. These thoughts may feel true because you have repeated them for a long time. However, they do not change the fact that 10 minutes are still available somewhere in many days. One page is still possible. One sentence can still be spoken. One question can still be asked. One small skill can still be practiced. Your past may explain why you stopped learning, but your past does not have the right to control every remaining year of your life. For the next 30 days, choose one useful skill. Use one main learning source. Study for at least 10 minutes each day. After studying, close the source and recall the main idea. Explain it in simple English. Practice one small part. Record what you completed. At the end of every week, create proof of your growth. It may be a voice recording, a written page, a completed task, a solved problem, or a real conversation. After 30 days, compare your first attempt with your final attempt. Do not ask whether you became perfect. Ask whether you became better, clearer, stronger, and more prepared. Write this promise somewhere you can see it. For the next 30 days, I will educate myself in one useful skill. I will protect time for it. I will practice it. I will check my mistakes. I will not disappear when it becomes difficult. Then place your own learning goal in the comments below. Write, my 30-day learning goal is, and complete the sentence. Your comment will not only tell us your goal, it will turn a private wish into a public decision. Do not close this video and return immediately to the same habits. That would make everything you heard another piece of entertainment. Take one action before the feeling disappears. Choose the skill. Write the goal. Prepare the lesson. Decide the time. Remove one distraction. Your life will not change because this video sounded powerful. Your life will change only when your next action becomes different. You do not need another school building to become educated. You need curiosity, discipline, reliable information, focused practice, honest correction, and the courage to return every day. You do not need to defeat millions of people. You need to defeat the version of yourself that keeps delaying, escaping, collecting excuses, and wasting the time your future desperately needs. Every day you learn, you become harder to replace, harder to mislead, and more able to create choices for yourself. If this video gave you a clear direction, subscribe to Bookish English and continue improving your English while learning powerful lessons for life. Like this video so more learners can discover it. Share it with one person who believes education ended when school ended. In the comments, write your 30-day learning goal and the number of minutes you will study each day. Your future will not be built by one emotional moment. It will be built by the promise you keep tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. Thanks for watching this video.